is Larry London, it's the Voice of America, and we're in Columbia for the Lilith Fair show, and we've got two music icons with us today, two of the best in the business. Love their music. You guys have been together for a number of years now. In fact, I was listening in on somebody else's interview since elementary school.
We've been playing since high school. We've known each other since elementary school, but playing since 1980.
And you were the B band or something back then?
At one point.
We went through several names, but we ended up the Indigo Girls.
How did you pick Indigo Girls?
Just, you know, we needed a name, and I was like looking through the dictionary, and that word stood out for me. I have no idea why. It's one of those things.
Having been together for the amount of time that you two have been together, and you've done a number of solo albums, I think you also have worked on some solo projects. But
not albums.
So Emily and Amy. And so I'm just curious how you make this partnership last so long. How do you manage to survive together over years and years? I mean, there's got to be conflicts and, you know.
Well, I think doing our own thing helps that, obviously, because we get our own kind of creative space. We write separately, so that gives us another opportunity to have our own space. And I think those are the things that help people really stay together and survive. And also, like, we've had the same manager since we were like 23. And you can't underestimate how important that is to a band, you know, to have that stability. You know, same agent, same manager. Our community's been with us. Those things help hold you together, and they cut down on the conflict, you know, and keep you tempered.
Well, you put out your, I guess, first album as the Indigo Girls. It was 97, I think it was. 87. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, you still look 25.
Yeah, right.
And you guys have been on this is the second time around for the Lilith Fair tour. You were on it 10 years ago when Sarah
we did a few of them.
And what's the difference between this one and the last tour?
I mean, Emily has said that she feels like it's a little mellower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
more laid back.
I mean, it's just as fun, you know. I don't know what to. There's some things that they've gotten better at, probably, you know, and organizationally, you know, just because that's what happens. So that's kind of cool. They've created a very good infrastructure for sort of environmental kind of consciousness, where they're using biodiesel for the whole fleet of Lilith vehicles, which is great because there's a huge carbon footprint made with a big tour like this, and they're really trying to cut down on that. And it's hard to do that. So kudos to them for that. There are a lot more women artists that are in the forefront than there were. There's always been a ton of women artists, but they haven't always been accessible to people or noticeable, I guess. And there's so many now in the forefront and I think that's because of the internet, honestly. I don't think it's because radio is playing more women than it used to or anything like that. I think the internet has just given us more a way to get the word out there. So the richness of diversity in the artists is pretty cool.
The internet, you know, artists can view it as a friend or a foe because, I mean, 99 cents a song, people can now cherry pick. They don't have to buy albums anymore. It's kind of made it harder to sell albums.
There's no doubt about it. Yep. But, I mean, change happens. You just kind of have to navigate that. And you just try to be as creative as you can in getting your music out and making use of every opportunity you can. I mean, it's been a great change that so many more people can afford to make records as opposed to the day where you had to go in a studio and pay $1,500 a day or whatever. Now you can, like with Pro Tools or home recording, you can make a digital recording fairly inexpensively, but it's also then flooded the world with a lot more music. So it's more competitive in that sense, but on the other hand, you get to find jewels that you wouldn't have been able to find, you know, 10, 15 years ago. So it's a mixed bag, but, you know, change happens. I mean, you're seeing the end of the major label dominance, which is very interesting. And to me, it's very interesting. It's sort of reflective of our cultural shortening attention span, that people do cherry pick and that they don't want to listen to a record when, you know, when I was growing up, me and my friends sit and put a record on and listen to it from front to back, and it was just the experience of creating a whole record, and now it's going to be just a different experience. And mixtapes and stuff like that, rather than albums, just shuffle your iPod. Very interesting, but reflective of a deeper cultural shift, I think.
What were you listening to growing up? You mentioned you used to listen to albums. What inspired you to get into this business?
Oh, I mean,
Elton John.
Elton John definitely inspired both of us.
Jackson 5 for me was my first record.
Great songwriters like Joni Mitchell and
Jackson Brown, Neil Young,
Ricky Lee Jones.
Heart.
And all the
one of my favorite
hippie
bands.
era stuff, all the southern rock. You know,
That was back when
Soul.
radio was good.
Right.
You know, you could listen. Radio was eclectic.
Right,
Well,
right,
now
right.
with satellite radio, that's coming back.
Right,
you know?
right. Because I was asking one of the other guests I was talking to about the American radio is kind of in a box and niche, and everybody's got to have fit a label in order to get airplay.
yeah.
And
a
it's
bummer.
difficult to do. It's tough. You know, in Europe, in the UK, it's a little easier to get some airplay because they're more open to hearing different sounds.
And it's more interesting
Yes.
over there.
Yeah.
So.
Now you mentioned songwriting was key to what you were listening to and why you were listening and why you got in this business. And I find it interesting. You don't write songs together. You write songs individually. Each of you is a tremendously talented songwriter. But why you don't collaborate?
We can't.
Why?
We just
Too much fighting?
No.
We have a very different language from each other. Very different. Like the way we articulate experiences and the words that we choose to use, and we use different chords. Like our musical vocabularies are just so different that. And I think we really want that space. That's our own space.
Yeah.
You know, to like really get into it and express ourselves, because we know when we come together, the expression is going to be diluted and colored and changed.
Right.
And which is a good thing, you know, because that's what we're about. But to have that moment where it's not is, I think, really important. Because I think if you do it together the whole way, then I think sometimes you fight for your territory a little bit, and I just think you don't have the best song.
Right.
Yeah.
I think co-writing is great, you know, but it's, for me, if you co-write with the person that you also sing with and arrange the songs with, it's pretty hard. So if I'm going to co-write, I want to go outside of us and co-write with someone that I'm not going to perform the song with.
Yeah.
That's what
I
you
feel
feel
the same
too,
way.
yeah.
Because I enjoy co-writing. It's just fun. But I do think that it's. I don't want to say it can dumb things down a bit, but sometimes it forces you to not be able to say completely what you would say. But that's the beauty of the process of co-writing. But for me, it's more gratifying to write a song on my own, because I'm not censored or tempered or any of those things, or afraid I'm going to say something dumb or any of that. You get to say all your dumb stuff when you're alone, and then you can edit it out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very vulnerable experience, songwriting.
I thought you were following the Elton John, Bernie Taupin, one guy's in another room. They never wrote in the same room.
What a brilliant team,
Yes,
those guys.
yes. Well, you know, Emily and Amy, brilliant team too. I mean, you
not
guys
like
have
that.
put out- well, everybody has their own niche.
That's true.
And you guys just put out a live album. You were the new label for the last year. About a year ago, you signed Vanguard, and so this new label, I was listening to some of the songs on. You have some of the old songs, some. I mean, Wild Horses of the Rolling Stones song. What made you?
Actually, we started our own label, and then we went to Vanguard and asked them to distribute our label. So we work with them as a distributor.
Okay, what's your label called?
It's just called Indigo Recordings. Yeah, it's nothing fancy, but we put a studio record out on that, and now we released this live recording, and called Staring Down the Brilliant Dream. And yeah, we put a couple of covers on there. We put Wild Horses on there and Don't Think Twice It's Alright, because those are just songs that we've done with different friends, and always kind of, you have certain songs that you just pull out when you have friends hanging around and you want to collaborate on stage, and everybody knows the same song. So it's like, okay, let's do Wild Horses. That'll be fun. Or let's learn Don't Think Twice It's Alright. It's like songs that are in the American songbook, sort of, in a way, and those are a couple of them. And we had Michelle Malone with us and Brandi Carlile with us for those songs. And then we did a big collaboration on Closer to Fine with Jill Hennessy came in and sang with us on that. And
She's great.
that was cool. And that live record's just kind of representation of like 3 years of different recordings. Sometimes we're with the band, sometimes we're in a trio with a keyboard player, and sometimes just alone. And we just covered kind of mixed and matched that territory.
And what comes next? I heard something about a Christmas album.
Yeah, we've got a holiday record coming out in October. We're very excited about it. We went to Nashville, cut it in 2 weeks.
With a bluegrass band.
Bluegrass band, all intense players. Just makes you never want to pick up a guitar again.
Yeah.
They're all genius.
Yeah.
And we had a blast making that record, and it's our first holiday record, so we're very excited about that. We're talking about putting together some sort of holiday tour. Working on that right now. We're getting ready to go to Michigan Women's Festival, and then continue our own tour, opening slot for Sugar Land for the first time.
Wow.
Which will be fun.
Yeah,
they're
we're excited.
friends. Yeah. We'll see how their audience takes to us. But
Right. That's going to be an interesting country fans, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna.
It's gonna be. It's like,
Oh my God.
We'll see.
We'll see what they say.
But we love those guys. We love them. And then just more touring on our own. And then studio record in the new year sometime.
And what will the Christmas album be about? Is it going to be originals? Are you going to do covers? Or?
3 originals. Amy wrote 2. I wrote 1.
Great.
We've got a great Hanukkah song
What's it
in
called?
there. But
The
Holly
album.
Happy Days.
Holly Happy Day. I love it. That's great.
Yes.
We're really excited about it.
There's a Hanukkah song that's pretty cool because Woody Guthrie lyrics, and the Klezmatics wrote the music for it. It's a pretty cool song.
Janice Ian sings on it. Mary Gaucher.
Yeah. We have a very cool song that Emily's dad brought to us called Peace Child. It's an ecumenical song, and he played piano on it and did the arrangement with us.
Then some classics like Angels We Have Heard on High and
I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yep. So some hymns and some and then a song by Beth Nielsen Chapman, incredible song, and then Mindy Smith and Shelley Wright co-wrote another one of their songs.
That's fantastic.
Kind of a mix.
And you said that'll be around October?
Comes out in
End of
October.
yeah.
October, great. If people online want to get it, let's say they're listening overseas around the world, how can they? Is there a
We'll probably
website?
go on iTunes. Well, I mean, IndigoGirls.com
Okay.
will be linking to everywhere you can get it, and then it'll
And
be on
iTunes.
iTunes, Rhapsody, whatever.
Right. And how about the tour? I mean, where will you be going internationally?
No, it's probably just going to be like 2 weeks of like fun little theater kind of holiday shows.
We
I
want
don't
to
think
take
we
a
can
band,
do it
though.
internationally. I don't think people. We don't know if people will really want to come to holiday shows. So we're going to test the
for
water.
the Indigo Girls, they would, of course.
It'll be our
Test the
first
water.
holiday show.
Yeah.
We want to dress up and stuff.
Oh, that'd be fun.
A little bit theatrical.
Now, have you played for the troops ever before? Have you
No.
done anything on
No,
bass?
I
Or?
wish
Play for
had.
the troops, though.
We should do that.
Yeah, because I get email, from the troops who are obviously tuned into the Voice of America.
We don't know who to ask to do that, but we would love to.
No USO
Shelley.
and
Shelley
organizations
Wright
like
does
that.
it all the time.
Yeah, I had her
You ask
on.
her.
She was
She's great.
She was just about a month ago. She was promoting the book and the album and whatnot.
Yeah,
so.
she's a new friend.
Yeah.
Right.
We would totally play for the troops
Yeah.
if they'd have us. We're such radical lefties. They'd have to I guess, be willing to have us play.
Now you are also, very socially conscious. You're environmentally conscious. You were talking about being green, and you're involved with a lot of different charity organizations, a lot of different just humanitarian organizations. How do you have time for everything? I mean, between the touring and the writing and the performing and the organizations, how you just manage to fit it all together?
Well, we sort of work. They all kind of work together. So there's one group that we helped start in the early '90s. That's like kind of our main thing that we actually do tours for and stuff called Honor the Earth, and we fund indigenous environmental, just native-run organizations in the Americas that work on cultural sustainability and environmental issues and youth sort of initiatives. And that's our main, the thing that really we take time away. We do a little tour or we go do events, And then other stuff, we do like one-off benefits for certain groups that we really like, or we'll have tables set up at our shows and people can pass out information. We do a lot of stuff through our website.
Or play at protests.
We'll go to, play at events.
March.
But we have a political sort of consultant, activist friend who works for us. And she helps us strategize on what we want to do and who we want to work with and how it's going to fit in with our schedule. And we just try to make them all complement each other,
Well, you guys have made great music for a number of years now, and you managed to stay, creative and stay relevant, and that's just a test to your greatness. And I really enjoy meeting you. It's an honor for me to meet you because I've enjoyed your music for a long time.
Thank you
You
so
got
much.
a great program, too.
Well, thank you. We get so many emails from all of our international audience and all around the world that they love your music as well.
That's cool.
And so indigogirls.com is the website.
You got it.
So thank you, Emily and Amy, for being on the Voice of America. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. If you want to say hi to the troops, they're tuned in as well right now.
Hi,
Yeah.
troops.
Hey, troops, we
appreciate
appreciate your
you.
service.
Totally appreciate you and your sacrifice.
Thank you, guys. We look forward to the Christmas album when it comes out in October.
Thanks.
Thanks.
This is the Voice of America. I'm Larry London, and we're at the Merriweather Post Pavilion. Stay tuned.
Awesome, Larry.